Good morning. I know I look rough, but I got my coffee. I just wanted to talk for a minute about psychic children. Growing up, I had my grandmother, who I was able to go to with things because she saw things too. I remember my grandma, she was very clairvoyant. She literally would see them with her own two eyes. Like one time she woke up and there was a waitress standing over her bed holding a pad and pen like they were getting ready to take her order. She always supported me, and she was Southern Pentecostal. I was very, very God-fearing woman, but she knew these abilities existed. So as a child, it was very hard on me when she passed away because she was my rock. She was the one I went to with everything. She's the one I told how I felt about the dining room at her house. You had to walk through the dining room to get into the bathroom. It's like an older house, and I wouldn't do it because I could feel somebody in there that wasn't good. I also had an uncle who was labeled schizophrenic. He was definitely not schizophrenic. He had something evil inside of him. So I grew up with this stuff. It was really hard when my grandma passed because I didn't have anybody to talk to anymore about it. Now I'm watching the younger generation, the little psychics in the family. You know, I've got one nephew. I'll never name names. But I've got one nephew who's got the horrific dreams like I do. You know, the over-your-head dreams where he's dreaming things that a little kid wouldn't even know to dream. You know, and I've got a niece that's got claircognizance like you wouldn't believe. This kid told me I was smoking too much, and I was. She knew it. I asked her, she goes, "Auntie, you're smoking way too many cigarettes." She's like a little tiny kid. And I said, "Is your dad smoking too much?" And she goes, "Nope." And I said, "Is Grammy?" And she said, "Nope, just you." And what's really funny about that is my dad had just said that to me as well. I don't know if you guys know, my dad had cancer in his lung, and he had to have it removed, and part of his lung removed, and it's been a real struggle knowing that I need to quit. It's really hard, especially right now, but she knew. Anyway, she knew. Like, and she was so matter of fact about it, you know? Another one of my nephews, little kid, took out a flashlight and he showed his sister a back bedroom, and he said, this is where the ghosts are. You know? We have to let our kids be kids, but we also need to let them know that we support them, that we believe them, and guide them. My son now is 15, and he's a medium, psychic medium. He doesn't really want to talk about it. He doesn't want to do it, and that's just fine. That's up to him. You know, when he's an adult, if he chooses to use his abilities, that's his business. But as of now, he's a child. So what I did was he has the graphic nightmares like I do. He has the bad dreams. What I did was I put stones in his room, protection stones. I sage his room when he's at school, not when he's at home. He hates the smell. But I also walk in there and I say, do not bother my son. Do not bother him. He is a child. Most of the time you're dealing with people that have already lived human lives. They know. They just know who can speak to them and who can't. So, you firmly put your foot down. You don't need to be rude. You just simply put your foot down. You say, you're not allowed to bother my child when my child is in his room. You are not allowed to bother him while he's trying to sleep. Do not rifle through his dreams. Do not show him how you died. None of it. And I also gave him a stick of Palo Santos. Actually, I think he's got 5 of them in there now. I just kept bringing them in. But I told him, I give him the tools to work with. So I told him, this is protection. You light it. You smudge yourself. You wake up in the middle of the night with a nightmare. Light this sucker up. Smudge yourself. We cannot force our children to use their abilities. They need to be allowed to be children. But as psychics ourselves, and in this new day and age where people are learning to use their abilities and they're learning things more and more, we can help our children along the way. But don't try to force anything on them. Just guide them the best that you can. And try to keep the ghost or the spirits. It's usually ghosts. The spirits don't come in and try to bother you. They've crossed over. But ghosts, they've got unfinished business. They may have died and they just want to tell somebody what happened to them. Things like that. But, which I can completely understand. So I would just say, if you need to talk to somebody, come and talk to me, but not my child. Not my child. Another thing is the stigma with it, Their friends find out or whatever, and it's, like I said, people have this complete misconception about what a psychic is. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. They think you can read their mind. They think you can. They've got all these misconceptions about what a psychic is and what a psychic does. My child went to Catholic school. And I'm really glad for it because he learned about the saints. He learned a lot of different things than I did because I didn't grow up with Catholicism, but I use it now. I use it in my everyday prayers now. But it is nice to get that religious God is real. The other side is real. Jesus is real. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted him to learn all of that stuff. Learn the prayers. He learned Latin prayers, and then he was able to teach me when he was like 12. We simply do not follow organized religion now. But sending him to that school was probably one of the best things I did because he learned so much about God, so much about prayer, and so much about the saints. You don't want to take the Bible out of your life. Take what feels right to your soul and leave the rest, okay? But there's a lot of information in that Bible that can also help you. We need both. We're coming into an age of a more spiritual age, an age where people are going to start understanding that miracles are real. We're going to start seeing more miracles. We're going to start seeing more evidence of angels, things like that. I'm kind of getting off track here, but the main thing is don't try to force your child's psychic abilities. Let them do it on their own. Kids can be cruel at school. You don't want to do that to them. So just help them along the way, but do not force this on them. Let them gradually decide for themselves how they want to go about it. You can't tell somebody what to believe. You can't tell somebody anything. They have to feel it with their own soul. Even children. Some of my nieces and nephews are too young right now to even comprehend what's going on at all. So all we can do is just sort of be around them, be their guardians, be their voice for the other side so that they're not messed with. One of my little nephews is clairvoyant as well. I mean, he told this mom, hey, I saw two men walking through the living room. One went upstairs and one went out the front door. He's too little to make that stuff up. You just got to make sure that you're not telling your child that they're seeing things that aren't real. It's like when we're kids, we're not preconditioned to think things aren't real or things are real. So we see better. But as we progress and people tell us, almost condition us like what to believe, and then it stops, So his mom said, I believe you. I believe you. What did they look like? Were they nice? She went through all of that stuff. But now her child will know. He can come to his mom if he sees things. We got to have an open relationship with our psychic children to help them along the way. I guess that's all I had to say. And I'm not down in my mom and dad. They just simply I didn't say anything to them growing up. I just would get up in the middle of the night and make my dad check under my bed, in my closet. Sometimes I'd make him look out my window, look out the front door. But I didn't say, Dad, I'm seeing ghosts. I'm feeling ghosts. Sometimes my mom said she'd wake up and I'd either be asleep next to her side of the bed or standing over her, which scared the hell out of her. We want to keep that open communication with our children so that they feel safe to tell us without us saying, that couldn't happen. It's not real. You know what I mean? We got to help them. Again, you can go in their room when they're not there. You can sage and you can put your foot down and say, do not do this to my child. My child is too young. My child deserves to be a child. If you want to come talk to somebody, come talk to me. If you are a psychic yourself, it's extremely important that you sage your house. Now, if you're not using your abilities like I do every day, you don't need to sage your house every day, but at least once a month, the whole house. Leave one door open, doesn't matter where you start in the house. Just make sure that you're corralling them out and that you're ending in the room where you have the open door, okay? You can also take holy water and make crosses on the backs of your mirrors. Mirrors are portals. You can take holy water, moon water works too. You can make crosses on the outsides of your windows. There's lots of different things that you can do to help keep your children safe and not having these scary, awful dreams that are over their heads. Anyways, that's all I had to say. I hope you're having an awesome morning, and I'll talk to you soon. And you guys all know I love you.